role models, or influential people, or famous people. When I said those things, did someone come up in your mind? Yeah? Okay, who were the kind of people that came up in your mind? This one? MashaAllah, awesome. Okay, who else? Malcolm X, who? Your parents, the beard.
Allahu Akbar.
Sisters. The Prophet ﷺ. Okay, who else? Maryam Amirebrahimi. Who else? In all of history, only those people? Kobe, Gandhi. Okay. The other Umar. All right, let's get a few more.
George Washington.
George Washington. Okay. Another one? Khadija radiallahu anha. I love how the sisters are bringing up all the sisters. Brothers. You need to learn from the sisters more. Prophet Yusuf alayhi salam. Okay, that's a good variety. Jazakallah khair. It's interesting to know how many Muslim names we have. You know, we are in a Muslim gathering, so that makes sense. But did you also come up with actors or singers or anyone else who they didn't enter your mind at all? No? Some of you? Kind of? Okay. Why was it that the people that you mentioned and the people that we mentioned, why did they come up in your mind? Okay, because they had some type of influence in your life. What else?
Change the world.
Okay, they made some type of impact in the world that changed it. What else?
Popularity.
Okay, popularity. I know this think tank is waiting to explode. Not in a wrong way. Let's go, sisters. Why? Why did you think of those people? Yeah.
Because if you follow them, then you know you're going on the right path.
Okay, because if you follow them, you know you're going on the right path. Okay. So we see from these individuals, one is there's some type of sense of following them, right? So there's a sense of us, when we think of these people, we think of individuals to follow. There's a sense of influence that they've had in our personal lives on the globe. They're popular for a reason, because they've had some type of impact that's making us think about them. So we can see that from every single one of these examples, they've done something in action, a tangible action, that somehow led us to think about them. Even the brother who mentioned his parents, right? That's serious work to raise someone. So every single one of these examples, we've seen action. If we think about action and the way that these individuals work, can we think about other people perhaps throughout history who might have done actions but we don't necessarily know their names?
Can you guys hear me well if I don't use this?
Yeah.
All right. If we think about those individuals who things we don't know, can you think of a specific example of someone whose actions we know but name we don't? Can you think of anyone? Think action, not name. People give the test? Yeah, that's an excellent example. Think of one person. So you said people. One person that doesn't necessarily do with the cat specifically, but in some way they influence humanity or us today in our lives. Yeah.
The girl who sparked the Egyptian Revolution.
Okay, the girl who sparked the Egyptian Revolution. Does anyone know her name? Maryam? Excellent name, could be. Actually, I don't know what her name is, but yeah, okay, that's a perfect example. All right. Think about history. We've seen history in the making. Think about in the past, like way back in the day. Can anyone come to your mind?
Yeah, Harriet Tubman.
Harriet Tubman? We know her name. You don't get it. All right. That's an excellent point. Thank you so much for mentioning that, because what that means when you don't get it, if anyone else didn't get it, it means that I'm the one who's not explaining clearly. It has nothing to do with you. So let me clarify. Let's think about the Prophet ﷺ. When he taught us about certain people, for example, how many people have heard of the prostitute who fed the dog water? How many of you have heard of that person? Okay? How many people know that person's name?
Oh, so there were or no?
Excellent try. MashaAllah. All right. Maybe no one in this room knows her name, but she had a name, right? She wasn't the prostitute who fed water. That might have been a title at one point. But now we know that that individual gave a dog water, and that was the means of her entering paradise, right? So we can see from her actions that she did something that we continue to use in our lives. blesses. So right now, let me ask you a question seriously, individually. Layla, do you want to be known in 500 years as Layla Jalenbo? You do?
Mhm.
Okay. What about you?
No, I.
Like that? That's what I said. Do you want 500 years for people to remember who you are?
I'm sure.
You do? Okay, why? Why would you want them to remember you?
Oh, you're right.
By your actions? Not because you want to be famous? You do want to be famous. Because of the action. Alright, you would be famous because you've done some type of action, right? Let's think about like movie stars right now. Can you think of 3 people off the top of your head who's movie stars?
Oh, yeah, Brad Pitt.
Okay, Brad Pitt, Will Smith, who else?
I don't know.
Denzel Washington. I love how the brothers only brought up brothers. Like BS.
Allahu Akbar.
Alright, so if we say that these actors are people who are famous now, are they not? Could you go to another country and mention one of their names and other people might know who they are?
Yeah.
Think 100 years in the past. Can you name a single actor from 100 years ago? Anyone here? Lucille Ball within the last 100 years. But was she 100 years ago? Like Dion? Like I grew up watching her. So like I mean I still relate to that. Okay. What is the difference between someone who's an actor whose names we can't really remember and individuals who somehow impacted the planet so much so that we can remember names like Gandhi and we can remember names like Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? We can remember names like Umar ibn al-Khattab radiyallahu anhu. Why can we remember that? Because of what? Okay, so we established it's because of their actions. Do we necessarily need to know their names for their actions to continue to be remembered? No. Why?
But it wouldn't develop credibility.
They wouldn't develop credibility?
I said, okay, 500 years from now, some guy did the test. It doesn't matter because I don't know who that guy is. We're technically speaking, you don't know the credibility behind him. Who was it with the followers of Muhammad?
Oh, so you're saying that knowing a person allows you to establish that this isn't just someone who's made up, but it's someone who actually existed. Yeah? Okay, so that's all fair. I saw a hand on the sister side. Yeah.
It's the action that matters, not who did it.
Okay, it's the action that matters, not who did it. We can see both of those. Credibility is very important. At the same time, we can see that if someone is sincere enough in their actions, Allah will continue to bless it. So that us, way after the time of this woman, because this woman who was the woman who fed the dog, who gave the water to the dog, she didn't live during the time of the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam. She was before that. So even before the Prophet sallallahu alaihi wasallam, who was so far from our time, we still remember who she is. So, what does that mean? I'm going to tell you. It means that Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has the ability to make someone a legend. But that legend, becoming legendary, doesn't necessarily tie to the fact that we have to know this person's name. It can tie to the fact that this person is special with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. So, if an individual is special with Allah, if they did something to make themselves special with Allah, then He can continue to make their actions go throughout history and they get rewarded for those actions every single time someone does it 500 years from now because they were sincere, whether or not that person's name is remembered. All of us can be people whose actions can continue on until the end of time. Not all of us are going to be people whose names are remembered. It doesn't mean that if you remember someone's names are better than the person whose actions we remember. The point is that if you're sincere with Allah, He's going to bless you in the right way for you. He's going to bless me in the right way for me, inshallah. So, let's think about a present-day example. Can you guys think of anyone who in your life personally has become a role model? Your parents? You mentioned parents, that's right. That's all fair. Who else? So we have parents, what else?
Meg.
Sorry, 1 second. I had a hand up here, yeah.
My sibling.
Your sibling? Role models for you? MashaAllah, may Allah bless them. Brother, what was your?
Meg, the grappler. AK the grappler.
Oh, the grappler.
Yeah, Meg.
Oh, a brother here.
Bedlam, right there.
Okay, a cool brother.
The cool brother.
Just our close there.
The coolest.
The coolest?
Yeah.
Okay, so that we've established he's the coolest. I don't know, because Umar Zark is like the coolest, so. Alright, sister.
You.
No.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Someone else. What?
The teacher.
Your teachers. Okay, so these are individuals, present-day examples you take as role models. Let me tell you a story of someone who was a role model for me. This sister was involved in a lot of things before she decided that she wanted to be a conscientious Muslim. Let me ask ask you, if you were to be caught doing something, or your parents caught your friends doing something that would get you in trouble, what are those things that would get you in trouble? What kind of things, if you were caught or your friends were caught doing, you get in trouble for? Bad things. Not good things? You want to get in trouble for good things? Okay. No. So bad things only. Okay, what are those bad things?
Drug use.
Drug use. What else? Yeah. What? Shoplifting. So a type of stealing. Okay, what else? Cursing. Okay? Fighting. What else? Drinking. Lying. Do you say sisters as an opposite gender? Or like being with your sisters and playing?
No, being with the sisters.
Oh, being with the sisters. Okay, be down for that? Okay. So, hanging out with the opposite gender in an inappropriate way. Alright. So, we have mentioned a few things. You mentioned drug use, possible stealing, involved with alcohol, cursing, fighting, being involved with the opposite gender. The individual who I'm talking about was involved with many of those things. She was with a crowd of people who used to do drugs all the time. They'd bring drugs to school and sell them in middle school. This is somebody who was caught for a lot of the things we mentioned, and the police came because she was in a fight. Her parents were like, what's going on with this girl, right? And then, you know what happened? SubhanAllah, one day she's totally disconnected from Islam. She's disconnected from the community. She doesn't really care, even though she's raised in a Muslim family. You guys know anyone like this? People who don't want to come to a conference like this because they just don't feel that connection? Alright, so what happens is she's at home, this man comes and visits her. She's drawing something. As she's drawing something, he sees it and he's like, that's really incredible. And she's like, what are you talking about? And he recognizes how incredible her talent is and this ability to draw. And he says that's something that the Muslim community needs. He validated her and he told her that she's needed. And she said it was the first time in her life that she thought, wait a second, someone might need me? It was the first time that she realized that her skills could be useful for the community. So what happened is that from that, she started thinking about being more involved with the Muslim community. And over time, as she's exposed to more individuals who are encouraging her, she starts getting involved with Islam. She leaves the drugs and everything else that she was involved with her crew, and she started becoming involved with Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. She set a specific relationship with the Quran, she started praying, and she started caring about her relationship with Allah and started impacting the people around her. She was one of the people, when I started becoming a conscientious Muslim, I would look to her as a role model. Because I would see that she went from here and she's here. And I can do that too. I mean, anyone can do that if they're sincere, and Allah will give them the tawfiq for that, if they're sincere in working for it. Right now, this is a girl who's involved with masjid youth groups. She helps people all the time. She's the one who people talk about as a role model for other individuals. If she hadn't been impacted by that man who told her something, do you think that she might be on this path right now? She might, okay? But didn't he play a role in that transformation? She played a role in that transformation, and she transformed and helped other people transform. So she became a catalyst, and because of her transformation, other people started becoming catalysts in the community as well. So one person impacted all these people around her. Let me tell you the way this man passed away. Allah yarhamhu. He was in his work on a Friday, Yom al-Jum'ah. He went to go make wudu. He made wudu. He came back. He had a heart attack and he passed away. Allah yarhamhu. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala bless him, bless his family, and raise their darajat. Incredible founder of the community, mashallah. Because of his actions, because of what he told this girl and his way of encouraging her, she's continuing to do good deeds, right? With those good deeds, he's getting a reward for it, even though he's passed away, and even though no one in this room knows her name, except for me, his name, or her name. So, even though he's gone, the impact that he made has... Okay, we're just going to stare at you until that happens. Are you sure?
Yeah, I'll do it after you're done.
Really sure?
Yes, I'm positive.
We can totally do a lecture. I don't need to hear you. Okay, so, are we here? Are we focused?
Yeah.
Focus? For real? Where am I at? What am I talking about? Yes! Jazakallah khair for listening. Takbir.
Allahu Akbar.
His actions continue. Very, very nice name, myself. His actions continue because of what she's doing. Do you think right now that there could be someone in your life who you could make some type of transformation and help your deeds continue after you pass away? Maybe. There might be. But it's going to take work, right? Let's look at an example who many of us The example of Umar radiallahu anhu was mentioned earlier. Who knows how he converted to Islam?
His sister?
His sister, yes. You want to tell us the story? You, yes, I'm pointing at you. Yeah.
Like, before, like, the halftime animal on top of the
Okay, Jazakallah khair. So, I want to hear about what was his transformation. How did he become Muslim? What made him convert to Islam? Yeah, right there.
he was gonna go tell the prophet, but then, someone stopped him and told him to see his sister, because his sister was Muslim. So, he went to go, like, comfort her, but then, he wanted to see what they were reading, because, her husband was teaching her hospital, and it was really traumatizing.
So, 1 second. I'm going to stop you right there. Can the brothers hear what her story is?
Yeah.
Yeah? Okay, keep going.
So, he wanted to read it, but she didn't let him because he was married. So, he went and took a shower and read it.
SubhanAllah. Okay. Now, in this story, was there a point where he beat her?
Yeah.
Yeah, okay, so that happened too. Alright, so let's look at the story. Umar radiallahu anhu. He has the intention, at this point he's not radiallahu anhu, he's just Umar. He has the intention to kill the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. As he's going to kill him, going to try to kill him sallallahu alayhi wa sallam, what happens? Someone's like, go check out your sister first. So he goes to his sister because he realized that she converted to Islam. So when he goes there, what happens? He hears the Quran, gets really upset, he slaps her, she starts bleeding, he's like, oh my god, my sister's bleeding, actually he's affected a little bit, and then he's interested in learning about Islam. Now, Umar radiallahu anhu, we mentioned him in role models today. So we take him as a role model. But what was his transformation based on? His sister. His transformation was based on the actions of a woman who he encountered because he had the intention to kill someone. Not just anyone, he had the intention to kill the Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. Would you call that an ultimate transformation? Yeah. Okay. What is it in these two stories that I mentioned? The sister who is modern day and the sister Fatima, who was a sister of Umar radiallahu anhuma. What was it that was something that was similar in both their stories, even though they're two distant times? Yeah.
Their actions of
Ooh, strong, mashallah, takbir.
Allahu
Their
Akbar.
actions have continued on because when we follow Umar, we're also following the action of his sister. When we follow this other sister, those of us who know her today, her actions are being continued through us. And that man who influenced her. What else? Yeah.
Both were really bad people at first, and they had a really big transformation.
So they're involved with a lot of inappropriate things, and then they had a huge transformation. Both of them had those. Yes, what else? Yeah.
For both, it was just one occurrence, one time, one place, where they saw something or something happened to them or somebody said something to them, and that completely changed them. So it says that, even the smallest deed that you're not even intentionally doing can make a difference.
Wow, that's a great takbir.
Allahu
The
Akbar.
other brothers mentioned that too. The
Wow.
small deed, which you don't even think can make a difference, could be the transformational point for yourself and for those around you. For those two people, it was something that helped click, right? But how many of us was there a click? How many people here, do you personally or someone you know, was there some type of transformation in your life? Like, for example, Islam wasn't a big deal, and then suddenly this happened, and then you decided, wow, this is something I should take seriously. How many of you had that experience? Okay, so a few of us have had that experience. Now, thinking about those people who had that experience, or people you know who had that experience, like the two we just talked about, there was something that helped them click, right? And that was...
Role model.
Yes, there was a role model. But what did those role models have? They were influential. There's something else. I want you to think really big. It's not an answer I've said so far. Character. Definitely in some way. How did they develop that character? What? What? Yes, it was from the Quran. Both of them, through that transformation and after that transformation, continued to establish a relationship with the Quran. So these individuals, even though now we're like, wow, these super amazing Muslim. There is a transformation that has to happen through consistent action. Because how many people do we know, I know personally, who went through Umrah and had this amazing transformation, and then boom, after a year, everything's back to normal. Everything's back to what it was in the past. How can we keep that transformation consistent? In these two examples, like the sister mentioned, Surah Taha, and the other sister had a consistent relationship with the Quran. It was through the Quran. I want you to close your eyes for a second. All of you. I see you. Okay. Right there, too. Thank you. Come on. Let's go. Yeah. You read the Quran, bro? Okay. How many of you read the Quran on a daily basis? Put your hands up if you read on a daily basis. Okay, put your hands down. All right, I want you to take a quick look around the room. All right, there are about 20 people